I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for a Life in the UK test part 91. The Industrial Revolution part 2. And we're on page 36 and participating in the exercise, which will be morning stretching, Mr. Jonas. So we were just talking about Industrial Revolution. So in the 18th century, people stopped being mostly working in the farming industry or in the cottage industry where they were making cloths or laces. And the Industrial Revolution was in England as the first country in the world on a large scale in overall Britain, and it was through development of machinery and the use of steam power. Now we were and that increased the efficiency and the productivity. So coal and other raw materials were needed to power the new factories. Coal is the stuff that is in the earth. That is carbon mostly. It is mostly black and it is of old wood. So trees had died a few million years ago, and now the oceans have changed and carbon is in the ground. So the trees had died, and when underneath the ground, millions of years ago, the trees were standing, and when the trees had fallen down after some time, just forests over forests for some million years. And when these trees had of course died and more layered up, forest over forest, and then the oceans over the world have changed, and at some places now there's today's land was ocean, and underneath the ocean there were coming sand onto them more and more, like a kilometer of earth and soil, and now it was laying under a kilometer of earth, and it was putting pressure onto it, and it was also warmer and so on, and over a process of some million years this wood transformed to coal. It can be still seen, and sometimes if you look at coal closely, at larger pieces of coal, not just small brackets, you can see the wood. You can see that it was wood. There are the rails of wood and something, and also sometimes leaves are visible as pressure. So coal is basically millions of years old wood, basically wood which had moisture for a few million years. But it also burns, but it burns better than wood. Coal is basically old wood, just a few million years old. It has gotten black and it burns hotter. It's basically old wood. If you know nothing about it, it's old wood which is black. So coal and other raw materials were needed to power new factories. Coal burns good. It's like wood, but it burns way better. Many people moved from the countryside and started working in the mining and manufacturing industries. Let's talk a little bit about the Black Death. That was in 1384. It was a form of plague called the Black Death. It killed a third of the population of Britain, and now it was less need for us to grow cereal crops. The people demanded higher wages, and there was a labor shortage. Many people left the countryside and went into the cities, and it developed a rich middle class. And now we're having here as well. Many people left the countryside and started working in mining and manufacturing industries. With mining, they mean probably coal, for example, or other raw materials for the steams. Let's start with the morning stretching. We have a relaxed stay and white apart. We're breathing in and going down. And we're breathing out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. Out. Now close the legs. And we can start with the next exercise, and we're always breathing by these exercises in through the nose and out through the mouth. So breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good to the side. Breathe in and out the rib cage. And breathe out. And again in. And out into the middle. over to the side. And breathe in and open the ribcage. And breathe out into the middle. And let's directly do the next exercise. Breathing again with the feet standing a bit more shoulder wide apart. You're breathing in. And out, one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in. And out. Breathe again in and out the ribcage. And out. And again in. And out into the middle. Breathe again in. And out to the other side. And breathe again in. And out and take the arm over. Breathe in and open the ribcage. And out. And again in. And out. So many people left the countryside and went to the cities. There was a great need for mining and for manufacturing and fabrics, and coal and other raw materials were much used. And the development of a Bessemer process for the mass production of steel led to the development of a shipbuilding industry and the railways. Manufacturing jobs became the main source of employment in Britain. The main source of employment was previously agriculture. Do we will know anything to the Bessemer process? We're going to read that, and when we're coming probably back, and when we know if we have not anything what is the Bessemer process. So let's make first what we have. The development of a Bessemer process for the mass production of steel led to the development of a shipbuilding industry and railways. We know that the naval tradition of Britain was co-founded, or was Sir Francis Drake had a great part in founding the naval tradition of England. And now we know that the Bessemer process led to the mass production which was necessary for the shipbuilding industry and the railway. So the Bessemer process, whatever it is, it helped to make ships and railways in a larger scale. And the most people in Britain who were worked in the manufacturing jobs. So we're having a little picture, I'm going a bit on, we're coming to that later. But basically they were working something like this, and not on the field as farmers. Now let's look what we write here. You may be asked about key historical figures and their work. Focus on what their achievements meant for Britain. For example, how REG made the textile industry more efficient. So we know about Adam Smith. He wrote something about economics. We know something about John Hume. I'm looking the name up in a moment. John Hume. He wrote about human nature. And we know something about James Watts's work to steam power. Now it was Adam Smith to economics, David Hume. David Hume, human nature. And James Watts' work on steam power helped the progress of the Industrial Revolution. Now, and we haven't heard anything to Arkwright, but we have it here. Arkwright. You may be asked about key historical figures. So we have three, and focus on what the achievements meant for Britain. So we're talking about here maybe the Bessemer process, but we don't know who or what Bessemer is. And that helped to make ships and railway production on a large scale. What the achievements meant for Britain. That most people were now working in manufacturing jobs. We know that so far. And agriculture and the manufacturing of goods became merchandised and industrial scale on a larger scale, and more efficient and greater productivity. And many people left the countryside and got into the towns and worked in mining and manufacturing industries. Focus on what their achievements meant for Britain. We will have more during the Industrial Revolution. For example, how Arkwright, that is here, made the textile industry more efficient. We will talk about that later. But now we're doing more research. And we're doing most of our stretching. We have just 5 minutes left. We have a repeat stand together. We're doing the aerobatic aeroplane, lifting the arms up and breathing in. And we're breathing out and we're letting one hands down. And breathe in and reach to both ends. Breathe in and reach. And breathe out. One hand comes up again. And breathe in. And out of the other hand comes down. Breathe in and reach. And out. And breathe again in. And out, one hand comes down. Breathe in and reach. And out, one hand comes again up. Breathe in. Out at the hand down. Breathe in and reach. And out. For the next exercise, the legs are standing wide apart. We are breathing in. And out, and we're hanging down. And we're just having to go deeper down by breathing in through the nose into the chest. And by breathing out through the mouth. And breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. Again in. And out over to one leg. And breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out over to the other leg. And breathe in. And out. Again in. Out into the middle. Breathe in. And out, we're coming slowly up around back and working at the top and back with shoulder up. We want to stretch the muscles by relaxing them. So we want to relax the muscles and let's stretch them. So we don't go forcefully. Are we stretching any muscles down? We want to relax them while we're hanging down. So we're not pressuring down. We want to relax the muscles to lengthen them and stretch them. In a very easy, smooth, not injuring manner. So we're breathing in. Now our feet are standing together. And out, and we again just hanging down. And breathe in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And again in. And out. And again in. And out. And again in. And out, we're coming slowly up with a round back and leg top, up backwards, shoulder up. And the last exercise for jungle igniter, we are breathing in and going down. And breathe out. And in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Breathe in across the legs. And out. So what we had so far about the Industrial Revolution was that before 1800, most people worked in agriculture. Now, there was a lot of work. That was not by the Industrial Revolution, that was by the Enlightenment, with Adam Smith saying something new ideas about economics, with David Hume about human nature, and James Watts about the steam power. Now, most people left in the 18th and 19th century the countryside and went into the towns, and they worked in manufacturing and mining. And there was machinery heavily developed and steam power. The efficiency and the productivity increased. England was the first country to make this industrialization in a larger scale. And the Bessemer process helped for the development of the shipping and railway industry of Britain. And this is it. We will continue in the next part with Richard Arkwright about whom we should know how REG made the textile industry more efficient. I thank you very much, and until next time.